ECSI fans, you want to revolutionize your sports investing habits? Allow me to tell you about WagerWire. WagerWire is an app that helps you become a superior bettor by allowing you to sync all your sports books and track all your bets in one place. See your current action, your betting history, and stats. You could also sign up for sports books and collect bonus offers. Follow them at WagerWire on X, as it's the best account on the platform. Head to App Store or Play Store now and search WagerWire and download the app.
Check this out, we got a great show coming your way.
From the ECSI Sports Studios, the #1 sports information program in America, the Breakfast Bankroll, with your host, the sports broker, Jeff Dawson.
Good morning, sports fans from all around the globe. I am the host, Jeff Dawson, East Coast Sports Investors, and it's that time of the week for a little breakfast bankroll with good friend and colleague, Mr. Andrew McInnis, at McInnis Picks, at Wager Talk. Go follow him on X. Stanley Cup Finals, Eastern Conference Finals starts tonight as Florida heads into Carolina. Florida, a series favorite, Carolina favorite tonight, and then tomorrow the Western Conference as Edmonton invades Dallas. The headliner for today's Do We Have a Stanley Cup Finals rematch coming in 2025? We're going to pick Andrew's brain, his thoughts on the last two series, how they ended up, and of course his thoughts moving forward to potential Stanley Cup matchups. His thoughts tonight, a little pucks, props, and thoughts. So first and foremost, a shout out to our proud sponsors and partnerships. It's WagerWire. Head on over to Google Play, download the app. It is free. AtlantaSteaksAndSeafood.com. You know the drill. Head on over to Facebook. Introduce yourself to Terry Smith. Then head on back to AtlantaSteaksAndSeafood.com. Steaks, chops, seafood, appetizers, wine. Terry's got it all, and he delivers it right to your front door. I know you've heard of Omaha. I know you've heard of Butcher Block. This is AtlantaSteaksAndSeafood.com. The product is better. The service is 10,000 times better. So introduce yourself and start grilling. Big good morning to Mr. Nebraska. Hope all is well in your world as well. So without further ado, Mr. Andrew McInnis. What's up, Andrew?
Good morning, sir. How are you?
I'm doing fine. How are you?
I'm disappointed we didn't see as many good series in round 2 as we did in round 1, but I'm loving the playoffs still. We had a CFL preseason game yesterday, Jeff. So that's how you know we're underway with that. It'll be a few weeks' time before the regular season gets going with that. We got World Championship hockey going on as we speak right now. So a lot of action-packed. People are starting to say the dog days are getting here, but not for me and you.
No, they're not. It was funny. I was following Gabe timeline and the victory lapses. He's 2-0 in preseason. I was thinking of you already. Any initial thoughts? I know a lot of players didn't play. I think they said O'Rourke was going to play. Any little notes and tidbits that you grabbed from the first 2 preseason games?
I think a lot of times these teams, number one, the home team is going to just get automatically juiced up for the odds. So I think in preseason, I know in a lot of sports, Jeff, we look towards betting like home preseason teams just because they're probably going to dress a lot more players. But I also think we're going to see a lot more juiced odds on those teams because they're at home. So it could be opportunities to fade teams that are playing at home in those preseason games at least. And again, just like, especially it's the same thing the way I look at it early on in the regular season. I don't really look to lay points that much. This is going to be a very competitive CFL season, Jeff. You're going to see me send you a lot more dogs than I ever have. And you know I love betting CFL dogs, but early on in the season, we're going to look to pick our spots. And we'll have to start sprinkling on the money line a lot more than I used to, because you're going to get after me. Every time I take a +5, they win outright, and I didn't even take the money line. But I would tell you that the parity in this league is going to be very, very good this year. That's one thing I've noticed doing my research, looking at the teams. It's going to be a lot about scheduling spots, a lot about situations, because these teams are going to look pretty tight.
Well, you said in the NHL that you're a little disappointed from the series aspect from round 1 and round 2, as you can hear Fenway barking, so the dogs are barking here. But, I mean, series, the second round here, I mean, Toronto, Florida, got to a 7th game. Yeah, Florida.
Right.
And I talked to a lot of people before that game, and I know you know this as well. Toronto had to score the first goal. And 0-0 through 1. Okay, now it's down to 40 minutes. Okay, and as soon as Florida scored the first goal in the second period, you blinked, you went and got a beer, you went and made a sandwich, you came back, it was 3-0 in 6 minutes. Thanks for playing. And listen, you can take a victory lap. You know, it's the same old Toronto Leafs. You know, they got through one round. You know, they're never going to win the cup. I'm hearing a lot of rumblings. Marner, I mean, they're going to just maybe blow this team up. Thoughts on Game 7 and then the future for Toronto Maple Leafs?
Well, the two best games that Florida played were Games 5 and 7. Game 5, of course, giving them the 3-2 lead, and of course, Game 7 winning the series. So to me, those were the two most important games of the series. Those are the games they played the best in. My thoughts on the Game 7 overall, you couldn't have hit it more correctly, Jeff. The first goal was huge there in that game, and the fact that, I mean, every player said it in the interviews, every coach said it. Florida looked amazing through their first 4 shifts. Every single line got a shift, and those 4 lines dominated the first 4 lines for Toronto. So after that, we're about 4 or 5 minutes into the game. Top lines get to go out again. They play well. It wasn't until about 10 or 11 minutes into the game where Toronto kind of said, okay, our turn. Because Toronto did have a good second half of the first period. So they survived the wave. Florida got their chances. Their goalie played well. Then Toronto got their chances. Bobrovsky kept them in it. And I think that was the thing, is that, man, if you're going to tell me in those first 12 minutes Florida didn't score a goal, Toronto had to bounce back. Because you see it all the time in the regular season, right? Like, you bet on a team, they're dominating the first 10 minutes. They outshot the team 12-2, and yet they go down 1-0, right? The other team takes their first shot of the game and they score. So I think that was very disappointing for the Leafs to be able to survive that wave, but then not be able to get back on track. As far as the lineup stuff goes and that's concerned, I do agree with a lot of people, because you know, Jeff, I'm a consistent Leafs troll. But at the end of the day,
Yes, you are.
Florida's a really good team. And so at the end of the day, Toronto has to be able to do more than just win one round. That's the bottom line, flat out. That just is what it is. But also, we look at Florida, who's been to the Stanley Cup Finals twice in a row now, could be going back there again. They're a very, very good team, and they do such a good job of adding at the deadline. If people want to complain about the LTIR stuff with Seth Jones, you know, it is what it is, because Tkachuk was out and those guys, but they're very well balanced. Here's the thing I'll say. Marner and Matthews, those two guys, it just has to be more from them. You know, I mean, I think it was 1 goal throughout the whole series for Matthews. Marner, barely anything from him. The thing is, though, if you look at Game 7, who scored for Florida? You know, Lindell, Seth Jones. You got these guys that nobody, and I can't remember the other guy's name even. Like, you know, that just should make my point. The fact that even though the top guys have to score for Toronto, they didn't get a goal on the breakaway from Steven Lorentz. When Scott Lawton had a 1-on-0 breakaway, he didn't get a goal or even really a quality chance. When these no-name guys and the 4th and 3rd liners get chances for Florida, they score off rebounds or off chances. So Marner's gone. He'll be going. The biggest question to me is, does Marner go to a playoff team, or does he go to a rebuilding team. Because typically, Jeff, as you know, when a player wants as much money as they possibly can get, which teams have all the money? It's the teams that, are rebuilding and they have that cap space. So he'll go from losing in the first round to not even making the playoffs if he goes to Chicago or Utah or one of those things. I can't see him going to a non-hockey market. Like some people were saying Columbus and some of these places. And then Pittsburgh was thrown out there because of Kyle Dubas. And, of course, you still get to play with Crosby and some great players. So going to be a very interesting offseason for that team.
Well, I think the shocker for some, not for me, but the shocker for most people will look back and say, Toronto going into Florida and stealing Game 6 to get to a Game 7 there. And again, that's where that first goal I thought was so important there. We're going to flip it over to the Stars. A heartbreaker for the Jets, I think. They played their asses off, and they were trying to do the same thing. They go down in overtime. They scored the first goal. They took care of business. But when you score the first goal, you can't allow the home team especially to come back and score 4 or 5 minutes later. You need to dictate the pace. And then I was in South Carolina. It was 1-1 in the second, I think it was. I knew it was going to overtime, and I knew Stars 2-1. And sure enough, I fell asleep. And then I got up around 2:30 and I checked the phone. Sure enough, Stars 2-1 in overtime. Thoughts on Game 6 in Dallas?
I mean, your heart breaks for Mark Scheifele, that situation. I mean, the fact that, your father passes away the night before you play a game like that. He scores a goal, as it seemed like the whole world, sports media, betting industry, everybody said this guy's scoring tonight. But, Jeff, the fact that he was in the penalty box for the goal that Dallas scored, it's heartbreaking. I mean, sports are a cruel thing. Sports are cruel. Sometimes we say it's like a Hollywood film. Unfortunately, it wasn't a good ending for the Winnipeg Jets in that one. I think, again, not to sugarcoat it and make it sound too okay, but at the end of the day, just like what I said about Toronto, Dallas is a really good team. I think that Dallas is a really good team, and you and I have been talking about both Carolina and Dallas for what feels like the past 3 or 4 years now. Finally, this could be the year they both end up going at the exact same time there. But at the end of the day, I think more has to be said about Winnipeg's depth because you know what? I think the top players played rather well. I think Kyle Connor had himself a good playoffs. I think Mark Scheifele had himself a pretty good playoffs. Some of the guys that were a little sneakier, like Nemestikov and Velarde and even Ehlers, some of these guys didn't play very well. And at the end of the day, currently right now, Jeff, that'll probably change this season, this playoffs. There's not one team in NHL history with a player making over $10.5 million that's won the Stanley Cup. You need to have depth. You need to have 4 lines that can play. And obviously it's going to change this year with some of these teams that are in, the mix still. But it goes to show that you need to be able to, at any given night, have 4 lines that can score for you. Because, I just go back to the Florida game for a second. You watch in the next series, Carolina versus Florida, we might see the best series that Matthew Tkachuk has played in. Right, we might see Sam Reinhart have 3 or 4 goals in this one series. Both those guys were quiet as can be, and their team won in Game 7 with neither of them scoring a goal. I found that a little bit disappointing for Winnipeg. And to your point, they go on the road, and I was like, man, if they win Game 5, they go on the road, and Hellebuck just finally gives them a game. Give them a road game. Give them a road win. Because, going on record, he hasn't won one road game all playoff, right? I don't think he ended up winning one playoff road game. But what was the goal support that he got, Jeff? It was like a pitcher not getting run support. Nobody could blame him there.
We go into Edmonton and Dallas. Dallas with the home ice, yet Edmonton minus 125. I always talk about to be the champs, you got to take a punch. Well, Edmonton won the West last year and then lost to Florida in the championship. Edmonton goes down 2-0 to the Kings. They rattle off 4 in a row there. They win a couple more to start the Vegas series. They looked poised for another run here. Surprised at Edmonton opening up -125, and that game goes tomorrow. Initial thoughts on the series there?
Yeah, I think that people just overall right now are really impressed with this Oilers team, including me, because I lost faith in them at the end of the season because they didn't have any depth, Jeff, and that's what it feels like it's the story of this show so far with me. But throughout the playoffs so far, they've shown everything but that. They've got depth. They have secondary scoring, and that's a really dangerous thing with this Oilers team. If they get guys that aren't named Connor and Leon scoring, it's a whole new team. It really, truly is. Their defense has been playing a bit better. And, when you look at that series against the Vegas Golden Knights, Jeff, and we take a look at some of the score lines, I remember saying to you, like in a joking way, are we ever going to see a game where the Oilers playing where it's not a 5-3, 5-4 game? And when you look at the last two games that they played, 1-0 and 3-0, and you see the remarks that Connor McDavid gave to the media, and he said maybe that will kind of shut some people up a little bit about our goaltending. And I kind of like that. We don't really see in the NHL them talk back to the media that much like that, but it's true. The fact that it's such a dangerous thing. They won, dating back to their series clincher against LA, 6-4, 4-2, 5-4 were the last three victories that they had. And then now you look at the last two games, 3-0 and 1-0. I think it's super impressive. I think Edmonton could be going back to the Stanley Cup Finals. I might have turned my mind with them. But at the end of the day, though, nobody can take away what Jake Ottinger has done. And no matter what people say, no matter how we can say that, the Pickard or Skinner played much better, Ottinger is the guy at this point. And, as far as the Olympics and Four Nations stuff is concerned, I know it's a team sport, but Ottinger pretty much came out and said he wants to be the starting goalie for Team USA at the Olympics. Well, Hellebuck might be the Hart Trophy winner, but Dallas Stars and Ottinger are off to the conference finals. So that one's going to be seriously interesting. I think that's going to come all the way down to can the Oilers steal a low-scoring game? That's my story of the series. Can the Oilers win one of the games where you and I are doing a show on game day? We're saying, okay, what's the score line going to be? What are the team totals going to be? And if I told you the score line was 3-2 in this game, will that team be the Oilers that won it? That is the biggest issue because, Jeff, early in the playoffs, they had to score 4 goals to win every game.
Well, we will not be together tomorrow, so we'll put you on the record here at 10:41 on May 20th. Who wins the series?
See, the thing is here, I've gone against Edmonton back-to-back series, so I'm kind of in a tough spot, to be honest with you. I've been wrong twice. Full transparency. It's important to say that stuff here. But it feels like Dallas has been humming. It feels like Dallas has kind of been around the block now the past several years. But what I'm going to say is that a lot of times I should have learned my lesson. These teams that lose in the Stanley Cup Finals tend to go back, even though it's such a hard sport to win in. It's been happening. It's been a pattern. We saw it with Tampa. We saw it with Vegas. We saw it with Florida. So I'm going to say that it's a real tight series, but I think Edmonton makes their way back to the Stanley Cup Finals. I mean, Dallas has been unbelievable, had themselves a great year. They have the absolute, game breakers on their team, a good goaltender, but I think Edmonton knows what it takes, and they've learned from their mistakes from last year, and they'll find themselves back. And, man, I would love to see a Florida-Edmonton rematch here.
Well, don't forget, Coach DeBoer is what now? 8-0 in Game 7, so Edmonton better take care of it in 6. How's that sound?
That's true. That is true.
Head over to the east. Here's our Carolina Hurricanes home ice advantage. Here comes Florida Panthers. Panthers opened up -125. A little money leaking in on Carolina tonight. If I saw this number correctly, first game, Carolina opened up -120. Now -124 at the Circa. Good morning to Mr. Benson and Mr. Derek Stevens. Now -124. You can grab Florida +111. 5.5 under -135. I look at their team totals here, Andrew, and it's kind of comical here. Let me go to here. Um, Florida team total over 2.5 is only minus 18 cents. Carolina team total over 2.5. I see it anywhere from minus 140 to 145 to 150. First 1 to 3 wins of this game. Initial thought here is Carolina wins tonight. I know a lot of people think just Florida can beat you 2-1 or 6-5. Before we break down the game, let me ask you this. I wanted to ask you this. The addition of Marshawn, has that been as big as it looks lately?
Oh, it really has. It really has. I think, I mean, he's built for that team. Every player has been saying it. Every coach has been saying it, that if he wasn't going to be playing on the Bruins, he's going to be playing on a team like Florida. That's just the style and the swagger that he plays with. I think, what did he have? 3 or 4 points? I think he had 3 points in the game 7. The moment's not too big for him. He has the experience level. I think he plays the right way. He doesn't play flashy. He plays hard-nosed. He's a guy that fits in well. And again, if you look at it, he's on the third line, Jeff. I mean, that's the thing with this team, is that, he can go on the third line and go on the second line. He can play anywhere. He's been a great fit for them, I truly believe. And I think that he'll do a good job at picking things up for when the top line guys aren't playing well.
I'm going to throw a curveball at you. I kind of like Carolina tonight, but I mean, we have futures on Carolina to win the East, to win the Stanley Cup. We have futures on Dallas to win the West and to win the Stanley Cup here. We talked last week, 10 days ago, grab some Mikko and grab some Connor McDavid, Conn Smythe. One of those two is obviously going to get to the Cup here. Thoughts initially, if you wanted to grab some Florida or Carolina Conn Smythe, do you have anywhere you would go that way, Andrew?
Last week, I was just tooting the horn of I was going crazy about Sebastian Aho as far as his numbers on the Conn Smythe. And you know what? The numbers gotten even better. So if anybody didn't listen and anybody didn't get in on it, I still think it's worth betting. Frederik Andersen at plus 450. I don't know. In my opinion, I look at this team and I think that if Carolina wins the Stanley Cup, Jeff, it's going to have to be off them scoring goals. They can't just win every game 1-0, 2-1. I just think that I think, what is it? Only twice in the last 10 years we've seen a goalie win. And maybe even twice in the last 12 years. It's just very rare. There has to be all boring games, low-scoring games, not much action. So with the screen I'm looking at, McDavid, Rantanen, Anderson, Bobrovsky, Draisaitl, Barkov, Ottinger, Reinhart. I mean, Sebastian Aho isn't like is like the 8th option here. In Carolina, they were Cup favorites for the whole season. During the regular season, they were like, what, top 3, would you say, right? Mm-hmm. So when you're going to get the best forward on that team at 28-1, that's worth a sprinkle for me. And if you want Freddie Andersen, you can get it. But I think, this is like, I feel like I'm GRP wins trying to quarter the market right now for the NFL draft. If Freddie Andersen wins, God bless him. But you're taking everybody around them. You know what I mean? And even when I look at a team like Florida, you've got your Barkovs at 14-1 and your Sergei Bobrovskys at 9-1. I don't know what it is, Jeff. And, we could be doing a show here in 2.5 weeks and you could be looking at me shaking your head after we could make a highlight reel of me saying this. But I truly believe that the goaltenders aren't going to be the guys to win it this year, because you've got Bobrovsky, you've got Ottinger, you've got Anderson, you got so many great goalies. And I get that. There's no doubt about it. We all know Skinner's not winning it. But I just think the forwards, one of these forwards this year is going to win it. Let's not forget, last year they gave it to a player on a team that lost. McDavid won it last year after losing. I wanted to mention, I do like them tonight, the home team. I like Carolina. Florida packed for 3 days, they said, after Game 7. They're ready to go, to fly to Raleigh for their next 2 games played. But I think they've been through a lot. Whether they're going to say it was a tough game or not in Game 7, I think Carolina's ready to go. This is going to be a different type of matchup for Florida. than it was against Toronto. You know, they don't have the flash, I would say, that Toronto has with the Matthews and Marner and those guys, but they've got the experience, they've got the grit, and they play a lot more tight and defensive. I think that'll benefit Carolina, especially in game one. So I will take them. I also lean towards the under in opening game here, this one. And I'll tell you what, at 2:15 Eastern time, I believe it is, we've got a game here. And if you have DraftKings, the best odds are out there. The number's moving as we speak. Plus 115 on Canada. The win-draw-win, 60-minute three-way line. Regulation against Team Sweden. Canada coming off their first loss of the World Championship tournament. They've got all their players. They've got all the guys set. The line pairings are all set up here. And I just think they're a much deeper team than Team Sweden. The money line is minus 145. The number right now for the regulation is plus 115. That's Team Canada starting in about 3.5 hours.
And what I'd like to suggest to everyone watching and listening, if you like Florida in the series, okay, and maybe we're getting cute here because if they win game one, obviously that number's gone. But like in the Toronto series, you don't have to bet the series today. You kind of root for Carolina to win. Now you can, instead of laying the 120 minus 122, you can then get Florida at plus 140, 150, 160, whatever it is down game one, Andrew.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And you know what? Even though Carolina didn't have home ice in the last series, they do now, right? They do now. Let's not forget, Florida finished third in the Atlantic Division. We'll see how much that matters. Could be an important factor here.
Well, I know you have a show to go to. The scroll has been going at McInnis Picks at Wager Talk, WT.buzz/AM. Tell everyone what you got at Wager Talk.
Jeff, as usual, you know, $5 Tuesday. Of course, we got all kinds of deals right now at Wager Talk. We have a deal actually going for the remainder of 2025. So if anybody wants to jump on board long term, we got baseball, CFL all throughout the summer, taking you to the NFL season and so on and so forth. A 1-year pass as well. So the full next 365 days works out to be $99 per month. Great deal there on that one. Regular price, $19.99. This will get it for you for $11.88. Really good number. But hey, if you want to go small sample size, $5. My favorite play today in baseball, just $5. You can get that at wagertalk.com. Regular price is $25.
Andrew, best of luck. Good luck on your show in 9 minutes. I gave you 9 minutes today, and then I'll be watching you, of course, on the Sports Grid, and then we'll be back on your channel at 10:15 on Friday. How's that?
Okay. Sounds great, Jeff. Thanks.
All right. Best of luck. Andrew McInnis, go follow him at McInnis Picks. Go follow him at Wager Talk. We're going to do a couple quick commercial breaks. When we come back, hopefully the NCAA insiders will be here. Stay tuned.
Jared, hey, we're going to need you to tone it down with the Summer Friday thing, okay?
What are you talking about?
Well, for one, it's not summer anymore.
Oh, really?
Coconut. Also, who is this?
I'm the caddy.
Oh, he's my intern?
Sorry, intern. I'm his intern.
Yeah, he's doing a great job.
No golfing in the office, okay? Summer Fridays are over. You can keep the Hawaiian shirt, but the rest of the stuff, all right? Are you grilling?
Oh, yeah. Did you want a burger or a hot dog?
No, grilling in the office.
It's a good point. We should take this outside.
No, that don't. You put that right back down.
Yo, it's all in the hips.
Oh, dude, come on, we gotta go. Let's go.
ECSI fans, you want to revolutionize your sports investing habits? Allow me to tell you about WagerWire. WagerWire is an app that helps you become a superior bettor by allowing you to sync all your sports books and track all your bets in one place. See your current action, your betting history, and stats. You could also sign up for sports books and collect bonus offers. Follow them at WagerWire on X, as it's the best account on the platform. Head to App Store or Play Store now and search WagerWire and download the app.
Welcome to Good Food. At Atlanta Steaks and Seafood, you'll find the highest quality meats from a variety of delicious cuts. Tomahawks, salmon fillets, ribeyes, and plenty more to choose from. With an easy-to-use, mobile-friendly website, selecting your pick of meat is made quick and easy. And don't forget, worrying about your dinner is a thing of the past. Check out some of the amazing subscription packages that Atlanta Steaks and Seafood has to offer. From fresh steak and seafood straight to your door. Order online at atlantasteaksandseafood.com.
We're waiting for Mr. Grissom and Mr. Hathcote to roll on in here. We got some college baseball to talk about. Currently, right now, Cal Bears putting a whooping on Miami, Florida, 9-0, top of the fifth. And Missouri, Alabama just getting underway. Bottom of the first, Alabama and Missouri 0-0. Alabama opened up minus 550 overnight. Now closed it on DraftKings minus 720 with a 14 and a hook. Miami, Florida closed minus 210, so a nice dog on the Cal Bears there as well. Andrew was talking, obviously we're talking hockey. He talked about free $5 play on bases here. I'm just trying to look at some baseball numbers now as we speak. And the Red Sox with a nice win yesterday, 3-1 against the Mets. No Cora, no problem. Haven't announced their pitcher yet. They are dogs today versus Clay Holmes as the Mets look to bounce back there. Trying to look and see. It's Patrick Corbin Day. And now, guys, the automatic play used to be fade Patrick Corbin. Well, this year it hasn't been that way. He's actually pitched pretty damn well as they travel to the Yankees. Corbin versus Warren. Yankees minus 180 with a 9 under minus 20. Try. Be careful there. I'm not saying to go run to the window and play Patrick Corbin, but he hasn't been giving up those 5, 6, 7, 8 runs as he has of late there. What else here? The return of Spencer Strider. If you haven't looked, Atlanta is closing in here. Still got a ways to go, but Strider is back. Acuna might be back this weekend. Strider versus Parker. Strider opened up minus 190, now minus 177. In Washington here. Real excited to see how he looks there. You know, they started out 0-8 this year, and now they're back over 500. With the Mets loss and the Phillies win last night, the Phillies now jump into first place as the Mets are starting to come back down to earth. ECSI VIPs, we had the Phillies team total over 6.5. Get a couple runs in the ninth there. They scored 9 in total, so we cashed that. Did not cash the first 5 there. Couple little opportunities. Didn't strike when we had to, but at least we split there because we had their first 5 total as well. Mr. Alvarez, Jeff, did you hit the trifecta Saturday? Personally, honestly, I didn't. I forwarded them to the ECSI VIPs, and we're still going through emails as we speak. Sean, I have to tell you this. You know I am a big, huge racing fan, and I watched the race live, and I am still, what an amazing race. As I was watching this and I saw journalism try to fight through 2 horses, and he somehow got through, okay? Flavian Pratt wanted no part of him. He says, you're not winning this race. He splits them, but the long shot, the 9, he's got, 5 or 6? So I was like, all right, he split him. He's going to finish second. Congratulations. And then OMG, a heart of a lion. And all the respect to him and his team to win that race. I'm still smiling. I could talk about that race for a long, long time. I'm just still in shock. He came back to win that race. You know, we had him at the Derby. I said I thought he might have went a little early, and then Sovereignty rode his hip. So they're all going to be at the Belmont. I don't know if he can fire 3 times, but I know we're going to have you on for the Belmont, and you know you got a mic here every Friday if you want to talk races leading up to that. But again, congrats, Sean Alvarez. Basically had the trifecta there, and he's the best in the business. If you're not following Sean, go to X at Smooth Turn 2 and start following him. He has cards for the weekends for all the horse. If you don't want, listen, it's not about entertainment, it's about investing. And if you want to pick them on your own, God bless you. But if you need someone that really does the work, Sean's your guy here. Let me see what he says here. If Umberto sits a bit longer in the Derby, we are probably looking. That's exactly what I thought. And you did see at the start of the race there, he was a lot closer. He didn't want to gauge that 6-7 lengths behind. He was close enough where he was able to kind of, I thought he ran a hell of a race, but it looked like he was just not going to get there. And I still can't believe he got there, Sean. I can't wait to talk live with him about this race here. And I'm going to probably, let me see here. I got to multitask here. 1 second here. As we're waiting anxiously for Mr. Grissom, who must be in the makeup room as usual here. Let me cut up here, guys. Bear with me 1 second here. Let me see, 3-minute box here. There we go. All right, let's bring in Q here. What's up, Q?
What's going on?
Not much. Yourself?
I'm watching California make me sweat the 12.5 under by themselves. 9-0, bases loaded, no outs. Not looking good.
No, they're not. I was talking about that as Andrew left here. They closed as a big dog, too. Where was the actual number? They closed plus 160, Miami minus 210 on the at DraftKings there. Thoughts on?
I didn't know what. So with Cal, right? It's 6 a.m. their time. So I didn't want to touch them. You just didn't know. I thought their bats were going to be asleep. I thought Miami could grind out like a 4-2 win, something where the under goes under flawlessly. And boy, was I wrong. So here's the problem, right? Is these pitchers that we consider studs, Hughes, even Florida, Liam Peterson, like they've shown they can't really pitch on short rest. And this is all short rest pitching for the next month. So the guys that could do it are going to win games, and the ones that can are really going to hurt teams. It's just as simple as that. You're either a Madison Bumgarner or you're not.
I have to ask you this. I was in South Carolina this weekend for a food truck festival. We were in the parking lot, the fairgrounds of the South Carolina Gamecocks football team. I can't wait to get back there, maybe for a football game. I could just hear the band playing. I've never been to a live SEC game, so that's on the docket there. But got back to the hotel room. I was watching that North Carolina team, Q. I think they're as dangerous as hell. The final standings, LSU right now, number 1, Texas, number 2, North Carolina, number 3, Oregon, Arkansas, Florida State. Does North Carolina have the horses to get to Omaha?
I don't know. They proved me wrong. I mean, they played really well against Florida State. Their offense hasn't been what it was last year, but they did it against Joey Vellini and Jamie Arnold, 2 of the best arms in ACC. So I kind of had to eat my words there. And pitching-wise, they have it. Like DeCaro, Knapp, Folger, Boaz, whoever else they want to throw, Aiden Hall. Like, they have the arms to get there. The bullpen's extremely deep. It's just if the offense can continue success. Like, they don't have a ton of power. It's dependent on what Tar Heels offense shows up, really. If they could stay consistent, they can, win the whole thing with the pitching. But then on the other hand, you look at a North Carolina team that, got dog walked earlier in the season by Stanford, and Stanford sucks. So, the problem is we're and I'll say it on the show live, there is no clear front runner. I mean, you look at Texas, right? They go on the road, they lose. Is that a big home field issue, right? Florida State, gets beat by North Carolina. Arkansas goes to Florida and loses. Like, Tennessee lost 6 of their last 7 series. LSU could drop a series. There's just no clear frontrunner this year. I mean, we have these futures. Jeff, you might as well flip a coin. I mean, last year you could narrow it down to 3 teams. This year, I think 12 teams could win it all.
Talk about the Florida Gator report. Thoughts coming into the tournament right now?
Yeah, they got to win. I think they got to at least win one. So they'll play Ole Miss. I think there's a little revenge factor there. They should have taken a series. They had a pretty piss poor ejection. I think that cost them a game and a doubleheader. That's a whole other topic. So I think if they can beat them, they're a lock, right? So here's the thing: they're not going to be a 16 seed. They proved that in 2022 when they kind of snuck in and they jumped the 16 seed. So they're going to be fighting for anywhere between a 13 to 15, which is where you want to be. You don't want to be 15 or 16. Ideally, if you could be a 13 or 14, you're probably, obviously looking ahead to a super regional. You're drawing probably a Vanderbilt, a Georgia, an Auburn type where you could probably beat them, especially Georgia because they're pitching. I mean, they're throwing out you, me, and Matt as a starting rotation. Now they're going to hit the Dickens out of the ball, but they're also going to give up a million runs. Auburn, same thing. Like you just get past Sam Dutton, I think you can beat them. Vanderbilt, same thing. Like Florida was in every game except the last one. They just had stupid errors. They could beat Vanderbilt. Vanderbilt on the road is a far different team. They'd be at home, but Florida has the ability to beat them. I don't think they could go into Fayetteville, especially since they won the regular season series and beat them at Ball Walker. I think it's just too intimidating there. I think them playing at home is just too tough. Same thing for Texas. I mean, they went into Texas and beat them 2-3. I think if there's no rain delay, they sweep them personally. Liam was cruising. But I don't know if they could replicate that again. It's so hard to go on the road against a top-tier team like that.
Other than the teams that need to 1 or 2 to get in, if you had a crystal ball, any idea who you think will be in the SEC finals or who might win the SEC?
It's so path-driven. Give me 1 second. I want to look at the chart real quick. I think A&M could make a run. The only way they're getting in is if they win the tournament. And I mean, listen, they've got the team. There's no doubt about that. They just haven't shown up. But that's not to say that they can't get hot like Florida did last year. That's a Big 12, ACC. Here we go. Where's Kentucky? Kentucky could make a finals. I mean, if they beat Oklahoma today, they face Georgia. Like they beat Georgia this year. They could beat Vanderbilt. They gave Vanderbilt fits. I mean, Vanderbilt walked them off 2 times, but they were close games. And you're going to line up with Texas. If whoever's in the semifinals, like I don't think Texas. I mean, they won the regular season. They're not going out there and throwing their ace because then the semifinals is Friday and then into Saturday. Like then you start getting into that point where do I throw my ace and then now he's on short rest for the regionals? Like you're not risking that. You're going to be a national seed. That's where Kentucky, they're a team in the tournament, but do you now go from a 3 seed to maybe a host position or to a better suited 2 seed? Same with A&M. A&M has to win. They're throwing their aces. They don't have a choice. I don't think Florida is going to really give an effort if they can get past South Carolina. Maybe Ole Miss, but then same thing. Like they're going to go to the semifinals against Arkansas, and there's no point in throwing your ace. Like at that point, Liam Peterson's been rocked 2 times now on short rest. He can't do it for a 3rd time and miraculously be a monster. So 2 wins get you a host spot. I mean, just at that point, just take it easy and rest, right? So you play in a long game.
Overall, the whole tournaments, the conference championships, I wouldn't be doing my job. UConn need to get to the finals, or you would think they're in right now, or what's your thoughts with the Big East?
I mean, they shared a co-conference with Creighton, I believe. Who's in that? It's Xavier, Creighton, UConn. Help me out here, Jeff.
Seton Hall. I mean, there's really not much.
Like Seton Hall's trash. I mean, really, the three teams that have any remote chances: UConn, Creighton, and Xavier. I mean, barring a first round upset, like they should probably be in as like a 3 or 4 seed. The problem with that, though, like they just don't. When you get into the regional play for them, and it's hurt them in years past, they have a guy that's an ace for the first game, but then they don't have anybody else, and that's the problem. Like when you go, I mean, it happened against Florida. Florida just beat down, them in 2023, and then last year they get to a super regional, which was great, but then you faced a Florida State team that like you get to a game 3 and you're tossing us, like you don't have anybody, and it sucks, right?
Well,
It's just
and the year before they had to travel to Stanford.
Yes, and the same thing. Game 3, they had no horses, and Stanford. I think Stanford hit like three home runs in a row, and at that point, I mean, it's like your best guy at UConn is probably throwing 92, 93. Then after that, like your next guy might be 89 and just throws, maybe midweeks here and looks dominant in Big East, but then you put him against an SEC lineup or an ACC, and these guys just feast on them. You'll never get the recruits because it's too cold.
Yeah, we again, and the way they started to where they're finishing, I hope they can get in and at least get to a game 2 or 3 here. Show it doesn't matter where you start. Obviously, it matters where you finish here.
Sure.
Games on the slate today. Anything you're looking at, have in pocket, or you want to suggest before we get to your dub club and all that stuff?
I did play the under 12.5 in the Miami game. I'm sweating that one. Oh wow, we got out of the inning. Thank God. Bases loaded, no outs. We got no runs in there. Thanks. I like. I think Maxwell in Kentucky. It's a play that I'm definitely looking at. They need to win. I think they're probably a 3 seed now. They want to be a 2 seed. I did play Texas State at a half unit. They're playing App State, who is an atrocious ball club. I don't know how in God's green earth App State swept them in the beginning of the year, but Texas State is just a far better team. Neutral site, like you're not playing in Boone, North Carolina. It's so hard to be the team 4 times in a year. And right now it's single elimination. So, Texas State only has to win 1 and now matters more than the sweep, back in March. So I like that play. And then I played Charlotte, Florida, Alabama. Alabama is tied right now. It was 0-0 in the second. Florida's got to play South Carolina, but like no Ethan Petrie, no Talmadge LaCroix. I mean, their best hit. I mean, they're like a JV team. I mean, I looked at Florida would turn every single into a double via the stolen base against their catcher. Their catcher couldn't throw us out, Jeff. It's pretty sad. And then Charlotte, Blake Gillespie, probably 1 or 1A, I guess, however you want to look at it, as mid-major pitcher of the year. Him and JB Middleton were head and shoulders above everybody. And Charlotte has a good program. Like Coach Woodard, he follows us, and he's building something there. There's no reason Charlotte baseball's not good. Like you're in a great talent pool area, and they're starting to get better. So I like them in a 3-team moneyline parlay for plus 101.
Well, we're going to be back on Friday, of course. We'll have the semis and the finals coming up, and then, of course, the start next week, where we'll have the brackets, the regionals, super regionals, and you guys will be live in Omaha before you know it. Scroller's been going the whole time, Q, but tell them, A, where they can find your work, NCAA Insider's work, and, of course, your Dub Club.
At Q Millie, 3 L's, 2 Y's for the X or Twitter, whatever you want to call it. collegebaseballinsiders.com. I know we uploaded a bunch of the pictures today. We're doing our best. It's hard in postseason because you won't know until an hour before. They try to play a little gamesmanship here and there, and you just don't know who's pitching on short rest. So we'll have those as best we can. Just follow through with us. Trust the website. It's been hitting all year. And then on Dub Club today, we're going live. I have a postseason package. I believe it's $24.99. I got to confirm with that, but it'll be live today. If you had a regular season package, don't worry. You are getting the conference plays with us. So you can find our Dub Club on the website /clubhouse. You can find it on all of our Twitters. I think it's our pinned tweet on all of our pages. So we've had a successful year. Matt and Nick killed it. I was able to stay profitable through a frustrating season. So, we're looking to have a huge postseason.
Q, I can't thank you enough for jumping on. 9-0, still bottom of the sixth. We're gonna let you sweat that out, and then we'll see you live Friday at 11:00.
All right, sounds good.
Take care. Quentin Mills, go follow him at X on Q Millie. That's 3 L's, 2 Y's. NCAA Insiders, the best in the business. If you are a college baseball fan, you gotta jump on there now. Quick commercial break, and we'll wrap it up. Stay tuned. Thank everyone for joining. If you haven't already, jump on over to YouTube at East Coast Sports Investors and subscribe. It's free. We have over 11,000 subscribers. Come on back to Twitter, X, whatever we're calling it today, to EC Sports Invest. Follow me. I'll follow you back. If you're interested in joining the ECSI VIP experience, head on over to eastcoastsportsinvestors.com. Top right, plans and pricing, scroll all the way to the bottom, put the retail pricing to the left. We want you to enjoy your very own ECSI VIP gym membership for just $3 a day, $99 a month. All the plays sent to you via text to your cell phone and emailed. That's all the sports. That's the NBA, NHL playoffs, MLB, first fives, team totals, full games, you name it, futures, props, PGA, U.S. Open on Father's Day weekend in less than a month. We'll be talking CFL with Andrew McInnis. There's nothing we don't have. NFL and college football futures. So you want to jump on now. If you're serious about sports investing and not entertainment, this is our 10th year of public service. There's not many people on social media that can say that, so we're damn proud of it. Google search us at Sports Investors, #1 ranked in the world according to Google first page. So tomorrow morning, 11 a.m., Brady Cannon back to recap the PGA Championship and to talk this week's tournament. And then on Thursday, we're back to talk some NBA with Matthew George from Sports Grid and Sirius XM. And then back on Friday, the NCAA Insiders. And Matthew George will be back. And Sean Alvarez, if you want to come on to talk some horses, we're available for you on Friday. So everyone, enjoy yourselves and stay tuned.